liberals have long contended the narrow-mindedness of conservatives. So we at Mike the Mime decided to tackle this allegation head-on and once and for all end it with our very own true or false test. Now, after exhaustive research, our crack staff has compiled the top 5 peeves liberals have towards conservatives. So let's play, shall we? This ought to be fun. Question number 1, true or false? All conservatives are racists. Now, I think our liberal friends really mean bigots, but they seem to be more familiar with the R word, so we'll stick with that. And the answer is true. As a matter of fact, conservatives, or more specifically white people, invented racism. It was invented in 1682 by Kennesaw Landis Walker Bush. Yes, an ancestor of the former president. Like the liberals need another reason not to like this guy. But Mike, you say that's silly. Conservatives don't have a monopoly on bigotry. Anybody can be a bigot. And white people just aren't conservatives. There are many people of color who are also conservatives. So the answer to your question is obviously false. America, it's time to awaken you to a terrible truth. There is no such thing as a conservative of color. Let me explain. Immediately after the fall of Berlin at the end of World War II, a conservative think tank smuggled the infamous Dr. Joseph Mengele from Germany to Paraguay, where the notorious doctor continued his work in genetics. A breakthrough in genetic recoding allowed Mengele to create what became known as the babies from Paraguay. Now, I know it's not as catchy as the boys from Brazil, but this is real life, people, not Hollywood. Ethnically diverse on the outside, these babies were genetically predisposed to white Judeo-Christian conservatism and would eventually account for landslide presidential elections in 1972 and 1984. Of note, it was at this time that the monikers Oreo, Ice Cream Bar, and Banana Boy were coined. Mengele's work would eventually cease in the late 1960s due to a lack of funding. But after presidential defeats to the Democrats in 1992 and 1996, the research facility was secretly reopened in Dothan, Alabama in the year 2000 and continues to operate to this day. Question number 2, true or false? All conservatives are religious zealots, intolerant of any belief system other than their own, Christianity. True. And if you think otherwise, you're going straight to hell. Question number 3, true or false? All conservatives are sexists. And this is also true. Creating racists wasn't the only thing Mengele was working on in Paraguay, but sadly, his work on creating the perfect obedient woman was merely the work of fiction. But who in their right mind wouldn't pine for one of these lovely ladies? And the 1975 version still looks pretty good today. Question number 4, true or false? All conservatives are anti-Semites. Trick question. No one likes the Jews. And finally, question number 5. All conservatives are homophobes. False. Now, I can only speak for myself, but I see nothing wrong with 2 beautiful women pleasuring themselves with each other, especially if I get to watch or join. Either way, definitely a homophobic free zone here. Okay, let's tally and see what's what. 3 true answers go to our liberal friends, 1 false for the conservatives, and a toss-up. 3, 2, 1, and 1 even. Okay, well, not exactly the results we were looking for, but all scoring aside, what have we learned? Well, let me put it to you this way. A conservative and a liberal get into a fistfight. The conservative's got the liberal on the ground, and he's giving it to him pretty good when the liberal looks up to the conservative and says, "Hey, you do realize you're wearing a dress, don't you?" Well, the conservative stops his pummeling for a second, looks down at the bloodied liberal and says, "What has that got to do with me kicking your..." Think about it for a minute. It will come to you.